What if the most profound mysteries of our consciousness, the very essence of our being, could be explained not by ancient wisdom alone, but by the cutting-edge theories of modern science? What if the connection between science and spirituality isn't as separate as we think, but part of the same unified reality? At the core of this exploration is an ancient concept, the soul. But could the soul, something so elusive, have a foundation in the science of our time? Let's start with quantum physics, a field that reveals a universe very different from what we experience in our everyday lives. It's a realm where particles behave in ways that defy our understanding. Particles exist in multiple places at once, communicate across vast distances, and influence each other instantaneously. This behavior is often explained through something known as non-locality, an idea that suggests that particles are interconnected through a deeper, unseen medium. This brings us to the concept of the ether, a hypothetical medium once thought to permeate all of space and carry light waves. Though the classical concept of ether was abandoned in the early 20th century, recent developments in quantum field theory suggest that space is not empty. Instead, it is filled with what some scientists call the quantum vacuum, a kind of fabric that underpins all of reality, similar to the ether that ancient philosophers and spiritual traditions spoke of. This quantum vacuum is far from empty. It's filled with fluctuating energy fields, potentialities, and subtle forces that scientists are just beginning to explore. Now, imagine the possibility that consciousness itself is not just a byproduct of the brain's chemistry, but something that interacts with this quantum field. The idea isn't as far out as it sounds. There's a theory called the Orch-OR theory, proposed by physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. They suggest that tiny quantum processes inside microtubules, the structural components of our brain's neurons, play a role in creating conscious awareness. What if the mind and the soul are not confined to the brain, but extend into this quantum field, interacting with the fabric of reality itself? This idea starts to feel strangely familiar when we explore spirituality. Practices like meditation or altered states of consciousness are said to allow us to connect with a higher state of being. Many spiritual traditions speak of a subtle energy, a force that transcends the material realm, connecting all things. What if this force, this universal field of energy, is actually the quantum vacuum? We've seen how quantum non-locality suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected in ways that seem impossible by classical physics. Perhaps this is where science and spirituality truly meet. Quantum physics tells us that energy and information are not bound by space or time. They are interconnected across vast distances. And spiritual traditions have long suggested that our souls are similarly boundless, interconnected with the divine, the cosmos, and one another. One of the most striking scientific concepts that relates to both the ether and spirituality is zero-point energy, the residual energy that exists in a vacuum, even at absolute zero temperature. This energy doesn't just reside in space, it permeates everything. Could this field be the medium through which consciousness operates? Is it possible that the soul, as we've understood it in spiritual terms, is merely an expression of quantum information interacting with this field? And this is where we can bring in the insights of one of history's most visionary scientists, Nikola Tesla. Tesla had a profound belief in the ether, even suggesting that it was the key to understanding both energy and consciousness. He famously said, "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence." Tesla viewed the ether not just as a medium for light, but as a dynamic force capable of transmitting energy across vast distances, without the need for physical wires or cables. To Tesla, the ether was a universal energy field, a medium that could carry not only light and electromagnetic waves, but also the very essence of life and consciousness. What if Tesla was onto something? What if the ether-like field he described is actually the quantum vacuum, the same field that underpins the universe and connects all living things? Could it be that the energy Tesla tapped into wasn't just electromagnetic, but the fundamental energy of consciousness itself? In this sense, both science and spirituality may be pointing toward the same conclusion, that consciousness is not a localized phenomenon confined to the brain, but something that exists as part of the larger web of energy and information throughout the universe. Perhaps, as we evolve, we'll discover that the soul is not a distant abstraction, but an integral part of this vast quantum field, alive and dynamic, in constant interaction with the underlying fabric of existence. The deeper we look into the quantum world, the more we find that the boundary between science and spirituality is not as sharp as we once thought. Both are merely different ways of understanding the same mystery, the quantum soul, connected to the universe in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. As we uncover the hidden laws of the cosmos, we may find that the soul is not a distant abstraction, but a real and tangible part of the quantum reality that shapes all life.